The galaxy had always looked down on humanity. To the Drelkar, masters of psychic warfare, humans were primitive, their biology weak and their technology quaint. To the ZHYRR, traders and conquerors of thousands of star systems, humans were a curiosity at best, a species barely capable of leaving its own solar system. Yet, in the quiet corners of the Milky Way, Earth's signal flickered across the void, small and almost laughable. Most alien observers ignored it, dismissing humanity as a harmless backwater civilization. Captain Elena Voss stared at the holographic map aboard the flagship Horizon's Edge. The human fleet was modest, scattered patrol ships, retrofitted transports, and experimental stealth frigates. Against the Drelkar dreadnoughts, they seemed insignificant. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Kor, a human officer with a calm, unflappable presence, "we've detected Drelkar fleets massing near Orion's Rift. Their sensors are unusual. They're probing our tactics." Elena frowned. "Unusual how?" "They're expecting us to run. They're not used to humans holding their ground." Elena smiled, a cold, sharp expression. "Good. Let them expect weakness. Let them be wrong." Across the galaxy, the Drelkar High Council convened. Towering and translucent, they hovered in a chamber filled with floating energy crystals. The oldest among them, Counselor R.H. Carr, addressed the assembly. "The humans, they fight differently than predicted. Their ships lack the refinement of our vessels, yet their formations are adaptive, unpredictable. They are learning." A younger counselor, Skier, hissed, "They are nothing but primitive life forms. Their weapons cannot breach our shields." R.H. Carr's voice was icy, carrying the weight of centuries. "We underestimated them. That was our first mistake. We must adjust. Observe, analyze, and, if necessary, eradicate before they become a true threat." Back on Horizon's Edge, Elena's bridge crew prepared for the first encounter. The void outside Orion's Rift glimmered with starlight, and the Drelkar fleet slowly materialized like a dark tide. Their ships were sleek, alien, and terrifying, bristling with energy cannons. Lieutenant Kor tapped a console. "Enemy formation Alpha detected. They're attempting a flanking maneuver." Elena's voice was steady, commanding. "Deploy decoy drones along Vector 7. We'll lead them into the asteroid field. Human ingenuity, Kor, make them regret underestimating us." The fleet moved as one, a blend of precision and instinct that alien sensors struggled to predict. Drones spun off in false directions, detonating in electromagnetic pulses that scrambled Drelkar targeting. On the alien bridge, the crew's frustration grew. "Why are they adapting? Our calculations should be exact." Skier's tentacles twitched in anger. "They are unpredictable," R.H. Carr said, his gaze fixed on the view screen. "And that unpredictability is intelligence. Observe carefully. They learn faster than any species we have catalogued." The battle escalated. Human frigates slipped through gaps in the enemy formation, launching missiles with uncanny timing. A single transport vessel, the Aurora, charged headlong into the enemy flank, using a gravity pulse weapon stolen and repurposed from old alien archives. It tore through a cruiser, leaving the Drelkar stunned. Elena's voice rang over the comms. "The galaxy counts us as weak. Today we teach them otherwise." The aliens hesitated. No strategy, no ancient battle doctrine had prepared them for humans who combined courage, cunning, and the raw unpredictability of instinct with calculated planning. In the aftermath, the surviving Drelkar ships retreated, shocked and demoralized. Back on Horizon's Edge, the crew cheered quietly. Victory had been small in scale, but monumental in significance. "This is only the beginning," Elena said, looking out at the stars. "They think they know us. Soon they will learn the cost of underestimating humanity." Far beyond, in the Drelkar Council, R.H. Carr's eyes glowed with a mixture of fear and fascination. Forbidden technology, hidden within humanity. We must uncover it, or risk annihilation. Unknown to both sides, deep within Earth's orbit, the first prototypes of the Prometheus drive were being activated, a technology so advanced, so unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, it could tip the scales of power irreversibly. The humans, underestimated for so long, were about to awaken a storm that would challenge the very fabric of the galaxy. And the galaxy, in its hubris, had no idea what was coming. The aftermath of Orion's Rift reverberated across the galaxy. Word of humanity's defiance spread faster than any message the Drelkar could send. Rumors swirled among star systems. A weak species had not only survived but had outmaneuvered one of the most feared fleets in known space. On Earth, the United Terran Council convened in the orbital capital of New Geneva. Holographic star maps floated over polished tables, showing clusters of alien-controlled sectors and hyperspace routes. Admiral Elena Voss leaned over the maps, her fingers tracing the edges of the Drelkar-controlled zones. Our victory at Orion's Rift is only the beginning. The galaxy assumes we are backward, predictable. We will give them a new story, one they will not forget. Dr. Arjun Malhotra, the lead scientist on the Prometheus Drive project, adjusted his glasses nervously. Admiral, the drive is ready for testing beyond our system. It can amplify our fleet's speed and firepower exponentially. But, Elena asked sharply. It's untested on large vessels. Any miscalculation could annihilate the ship and everyone aboard. Elena's eyes narrowed. Humanity does not wait for perfection. We create it. Meanwhile, in the Drelkar High Council, Councillor RHKar seethed. The younger skier paced furiously, muttering, "They are nothing. Mere luck." RHKar's translucent form pulsed. Luck does not explain their adaptability. They are not only learning, they are innovating. And somewhere within their primitive world, they have uncovered something dangerous. Forbidden technology. The ZHYR Trade Consortium, ever opportunistic, watched from their homeworld of Virelia. Their emissary, Trell, whispered to the council, if the humans possess such power, they will disrupt all trade and territorial control. They could become untouchable. The galaxy had underestimated humanity's ability to unite. For centuries, human history had been shaped by conflict, adaptation, and survival against overwhelming odds. That resilience had now become their weapon. The first interstellar jump with the Prometheus drive was ready. A human fleet, small but meticulously organized, emerged from the Sol system, vessels shimmering with newly designed stealth fields. Elena commanded from the horizon's edge, while Dr. Malhotra monitored the Prometheus drive from the engineering core. Initiating jump in 3, 2, 1. Malhotra's voice trembled slightly with excitement and fear. The fleet vanished in a cascade of shimmering light, appearing moments later beyond the Omega Expanse, deep in uncharted territory. The jump had succeeded. This is only the beginning, Elena said quietly, scanning the alien systems ahead. We move fast, we strike smart, and we adapt. Human fleets began to raid isolated outposts of the Drelkar and ZHR, not to annihilate but to destabilize. Using stolen alien schematics, human engineers modified existing weapons into hybrid systems far beyond anything previously imagined. Mines that could phase through shields, ships that could cloak and rematerialize in seconds, and communication jammers that made entire fleets disappear from sensors. Alien commanders were bewildered. These humans, they defy physics as we know it, one ZR admiral shouted over the comms, watching another outpost vanish in a burst of human-engineered energy. On the Drelkar homeworld, RHKar convened an emergency council. We cannot ignore them any longer. Their growth is exponential. If we do not act, humanity will dominate the outer rim within a single galactic cycle. Skier hissed in frustration. They are still fragile. One strike, one calculated attack, and they will crumble. RHKar's gaze was sharp, ancient, and unyielding. Perhaps. Or perhaps we are the fragile ones. They wield ingenuity and unpredictability as a weapon. Humanity has always survived against impossible odds. This time we are the odds. Back in human-controlled space, spies and scouts reported whispers of a secret council forming among alien powers. Humans were becoming a threat, not just militarily but politically. Neutral systems began seeking alliances with the Terran fleets, offering resources, starports, and intelligence. In the shadows of a gas giant in the Tithra sector, a human reconnaissance ship, the Shadowhawk, slipped undetected through a Drelkar stronghold. Its mission: observe the aliens, collect data, and plant disinformation that would fracture their coordination. Captain Liera Ven transmitted back to Horizon's Edge. We've intercepted enemy directives. They're panicked. Their forces are disorganized, debating strategies that contradict each other. The seeds of chaos have been sown. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Good. Let them squabble while we prepare for the storm. The galaxy believes humanity is weak, but it has yet to see the apex predator it has awakened. The Prometheus drive was not just a technological marvel, it was a symbol of human audacity. It allowed ships to traverse hundreds of light years in moments, outflanking fleets, striking undefended colonies, and retreating before retaliation could be organized. But not all humans agreed. Senator Cale Armitage warned in the council chambers, "We are becoming feared across the galaxy." Fear is a weapon, but it can also breed hatred. We must temper our actions with diplomacy, or we risk war on a scale we may not survive. Elena's eyes flashed. We are already in that war. The difference is we decide the terms. By the end of the cycle, the human reputation had shifted. Once seen as weak, primitive, and irrelevant, humanity was now whispered about in every corner of galactic politics. Fear, respect, and curiosity all mingled in the councils of alien empires. And yet, no one knew the full extent of what humanity could do. The Prometheus drive was only the beginning. Hidden projects, secret fleets, and untested technologies waited in orbit, ready to emerge. Somewhere in the void, HFY's voice echoed in the minds of his council. If humanity continues this path, they will become the galaxy's greatest threat. And perhaps, the galaxy's last hope for a new order. The first real challenge had passed. The second, far deadlier, was just over the horizon. Humanity had moved from underestimation to dominance, not through sheer force alone, but through cunning, innovation, and an unbreakable will. The galaxy, unprepared and arrogant, would soon learn that some species are not meant to be ignored. And humanity was just beginning to awaken its full potential. The galaxy had begun to whisper the name Earth, with a mixture of fear and disbelief. Humans were no longer the forgotten species on the rim of the Milky Way, they had become a force that could not be ignored. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, her gaze fixed on the holographic display of the Cygnus expanse. The sector was controlled by the ZHYR Trade Consortium, whose fleets prided themselves on precision, discipline, and ruthless efficiency. Today, humans were about to challenge that reputation. Lieutenant Kor's voice cut through the tension. Admiral, the ZHYR fleet is awaiting us at the outer rim. Sensors indicate over 60 capital-class vessels, plus a swarm of fighters. Elena's lips curved into a determined smile. They expect us to flee. They expect fear. Let's give them something else. Full tactical engagement, but keep formation Sigma. Remember, unpredictability is our advantage. On the ZHYR command ship Krellian, Admiral Tkrell studied his holographic display with disbelief. How is this possible? Their fleet, it moves in ways our simulations cannot predict. And their weapons are unprecedented. His subordinate, Captain Viral, hissed, Admiral, we could destroy them in minutes if we coordinate a full assault. Tkrell's eyes narrowed. We've already underestimated them once. That cannot happen again. Prepare the countermeasures. Use the gravitational traps. Force them into choke points. But I fear even that may not be enough. Back in human territory, the Horizon's Edge led a fleet of 30 vessels through the expanse. Using the Prometheus drive, they leaped through space in rapid bursts, appearing unexpectedly behind enemy positions, striking undefended outposts, and vanishing before reinforcements arrived. The first skirmish erupted near the asteroid field of Rhinoth. Human frigates emerged from the shadows of massive rock formations, firing pulse cannons that pierced ZHYR shields in precise, almost surgical strikes. Fighters swooped around, disabling turrets and communications arrays. In the chaos, Elena's voice was calm but commanding. Focus fire on the flagships. Kor, coordinate the decoy units. Make them chase shadows while we dismantle their command chain. Across the battlefield, the ZHYR were disoriented. Their simulations had failed to anticipate human tactics. Ships were struck where they were least defended, formations fractured, and panic spread among the ranks. Admiral Tkrell's comms crackled with fury. What are they? How do they move so, logically yet unpredictably? Aboard Horizon's Edge, Elena activated a secondary system, the newly enhanced stealth mines. They flared to life in the void, mimicking the signatures of human vessels. ZHYR capital ships, believing they had trapped the humans, detonated minefields that shredded their own fleet. Lieutenant Kor's jaw dropped. They're fighting themselves. Elena's voice was steady. No, Kor. They're just learning the hard way that humanity doesn't play by the rules. Far from the battle, the Drelkar observed the engagement through deep space sensors. Counselor HFY's translucent form glowed faintly as he spoke. The humans, they are not only innovative, they are apex strategists. If they continue, the ZHYR will fall, and the pattern will repeat across the galaxy. Forbidden technology indeed. But perhaps it is not the Prometheus drive alone, it is their very will that makes them formidable. Meanwhile, Senator Cale Armitage's warnings echoed in human council chambers. We risk making enemies faster than we can manage alliances. Fear may win battles, but it can ignite wars we cannot contain. Elena turned to her second-in-command, Commander Liera Ven. Fear is temporary. Dominance is permanent. And humanity is not here to be feared, it's here to be remembered. By the end of the engagement, the human fleet had crippled the ZHYR stronghold without losing a single capital vessel. Communications from neutral systems flooded in, offering trade rights, intelligence, and safe harbor. Entire sectors began reconsidering their alliances, quietly acknowledging that the balance of power was shifting. But the galaxy was far from ready to accept this rise. In the Drelkar Council, RHKar's eyes glowed ominously. Humanity is evolving faster than any predicted model. Every engagement, every battle shows exponential growth in their tactics and technology. We may have underestimated them, fatally. Even the ZHYR Trade Consortium, once confident and unyielding, was forced to reconsider. Admiral Trellis' fleet limped back to Virelia, their loss is catastrophic. They are not just a threat, he muttered bitterly. They are a force of nature. On Horizon's edge, Elena allowed herself a rare moment of reflection. The stars stretched endlessly before her, vast and indifferent. Yet humanity had carved a mark upon them. They had shown cunning, adaptability, and ruthlessness, but always tempered by strategy and foresight. Dr. Malhotra's voice came through from the engineering core. Admiral, preliminary scans indicate the Prometheus drive can handle even larger fleets. With further optimization, we could reach anywhere in the galaxy within cycles, striking at the heart of entire empires before they react. Elena's gaze hardened. Then we prepare. Not for survival but for supremacy. The galaxy believes we are a threat. Soon they will understand that we are the apex. In the quiet corners of unaligned star systems, whispers spread like wildfire. Humanity was no longer a backwater species. They were architects of destiny, wielding technology and strategy that defied imagination. Entire fleets began to reconsider where their loyalties lay, some quietly offering support, others plotting retaliation. And somewhere deep within the void, the first human agents infiltrated enemy command centers, not to destroy, but to plant seeds of chaos and intelligence that would unravel alien empires from within. The first strike had not only won battles, it had won attention, fear, and influence. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and that mistake would cost them everything. The galaxy was changing. What had begun as whispers, curiosity, disbelief, and fear, had now turned into an uneasy murmur of panic. Across countless systems, aliens recalculated their assumptions about humanity. No longer were humans the primitive species at the edge of the galaxy. They were a rising force with a blend of audacity, intellect, and raw adaptability that few could match. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the Horizon's edge, staring at the holographic projection of the Midway cluster. Two major powers, the Drelkar and the ZHYR, were now coordinating efforts to counter humanity's rapid rise. Rumors hinted that the Krasari, a reptilian empire notorious for aggressive expansion, might also enter the fray. Lieutenant Kor broke the silence. Admiral, sensors indicate simultaneous fleet movements. The Drelkar are massing in the northern corridor, ZHYR in the southern, and preliminary signals suggest the Krasari are mobilizing near the fringe. Elena's jaw tightened. They think they can corner us. Let them come. We will show them what it means to misjudge humanity. In orbit around the neutral trading hub of Valdara Prime, human diplomats worked tirelessly. Senator Cale Armitage addressed the council via hologram, his tone urgent but measured. We cannot rely solely on technology or battlefield superiority. Diplomacy and intelligence will be our shield in this web of alliances. Every system we win is a system that multiplies our influence and weakens our enemies. Meanwhile, deep within Drelkar space, Counselor RHKar's translucent form shimmered with tension. They grow bolder. Every engagement proves that human ingenuity surpasses our calculations. We must consolidate, strike strategically, and neutralize their command networks. Skier hissed angrily. Neutralize them? Every plan we devise fails. They adapt before we can even execute countermeasures. RHKar's gaze was sharp, almost predatory. Precisely. Humanity is no ordinary threat. They are a storm. And we are not yet ready to face it fully. Back aboard Horizon's edge, Elena oversaw the deployment of a human task force to the Midway cluster. Using the Prometheus drive, small stealth squadrons infiltrated enemy lines, mapping fleet movements, sabotaging supply routes, and planting misinformation designed to fracture alien coordination. Captain Liera Venn reported from the reconnaissance ship Nightshade. Admiral, preliminary scans indicate the Drelkar are in disarray. Our feints have caused multiple internal conflicts within their command. They are arguing over strategy instead of preparing for battle. Elena allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. Good. Confusion is the most effective weapon. Let them fight themselves while we advance our objectives. Across the void, the ZHYR Trade Consortium attempted to respond, but human tactics had anticipated their every move. Drones disguised as civilian transport vessels lured ZHYR squadrons into asteroid fields, while modified missile arrays destroyed their communications arrays. By the time their fleet realized the deception, key outposts had already fallen. In the shadows, agents of the Terran Intelligence Directorate infiltrated alien command stations. They did not destroy, they observed, redirected, and seeded discord. Entire fleets began turning against one another, unsure whom to trust. The humans were winning without firing a single shot in many instances, proving that cunning and foresight could surpass raw firepower. Amidst the chaos, a message was transmitted across the void to human forces. Drelkar High Council, humanity, cease your provocations. Withdraw or face annihilation. Elena's response was firm, delivered with measured authority. We do not provoke. We survive, adapt, and prevail. You will learn that your calculations cannot encompass human ingenuity. The alien response came swiftly, but humans were ready. In the first engagement at Valdara, the Drelkar and ZRR fleets attempted a coordinated strike. Yet the humans had anticipated the move. Using stealth fields, electronic warfare, and the Prometheus drive's instantaneous jumps, they outflanked both fleets. Drones mimicked entire squadrons, forcing alien ships to misfire and collide in confusion. Admiral Trell of the ZHYR fleet was enraged. How do they anticipate our moves before we make them? This is impossible. RHKar's voice crackled over Drelkar channels. Impossible, yes. Unless one considers that humans are not limited by conventional tactics. They evolve in real time. The human victory was decisive but surgical. Not a single civilian system was harmed, yet both Drelkar and ZRR fleets suffered massive structural losses. Human forces withdrew before the aliens could regroup, leaving confusion and fear in their wake. As the fleets regrouped, Elena and her officers gathered to discuss the next steps. This is more than a battle, she said, her eyes scanning the starlit void. It is a message. Humanity does not retreat, does not bend, and will not be underestimated. The galaxy will learn respect, through caution, negotiation, or the consequences of their arrogance. Senator Armitage's hologram flickered. Admiral, while your strategies are brilliant, the political ramifications are immense. Every empire we confront now knows that we are capable of overwhelming them. Some may unite against us. Elena's expression hardened. Let them try. Every alliance has its weakness. Every empire has blind spots. And humanity thrives in adversity. We will find the cracks and we will expand, not through recklessness but through strategy, adaptability, and an unyielding will. The stars stretched endlessly, indifferent to the struggles below. Yet humanity had carved its mark, not through sheer force alone, but through cunning, innovation, and psychological mastery. The galaxy's powers now understood a truth they could not ignore. Underestimating humanity was the deadliest mistake an empire could make. And humanity's ascent had only begun. The galaxy was no longer whispering the name of Earth, it was shouting it in fear, fascination, and grudging respect. Humanity had moved beyond mere survival, it was now shaping the balance of power itself. Entire sectors had shifted allegiance or pledged neutrality, wary of provoking a species that had already shattered conventional expectations of warfare. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, staring at a projection of the Drelkar fortress planet, Kythera Prime. The colossal alien stronghold floated amidst a dense asteroid belt, its surface bristling with energy cannons, orbital defense grids, and tens of thousands of troops. To any ordinary fleet, a frontal assault would have been suicidal. To humanity, it was merely the next challenge. Lieutenant Kor's voice broke the tension. Admiral, sensors confirm enemy fleet movements. They've anticipated our approach and have reinforced the planet's orbit with 10 heavy cruisers and hundreds of support craft. Elena's gaze was unwavering. Good. Let them prepare. Every overconfidence, every rigid formation is a vulnerability. We'll exploit it. Meanwhile, on Kythera Prime, Counselor RHKar addressed his council with growing unease. The humans, they are not merely attacking, they are orchestrating chaos. Their strikes are surgical yet unpredictable. They anticipate our moves before we can execute them. Skier hissed furiously. It is impossible. Our defenses are perfect, our fleets disciplined. How can they overcome this? RH-Car's translucent eyes glimmered with a dangerous clarity. Because they do not fight like any species we have encountered. They adapt in real time. They learn from instinct, intelligence, and the very unpredictability of human nature. We are facing an apex predator. The human plan was audacious. Using the Prometheus drive, the fleet split into multiple subgroups, appearing almost simultaneously on opposite sides of Kythera Prime. Stealth frigates infiltrated the planet's defense satellites, hacking their control systems and sowing confusion. Meanwhile, drone swarms disguised as supply convoys lured the Drelkar cruisers into the asteroid belt, where carefully placed gravitational mines detonated with devastating effect. Captain Liera Ven, piloting the Nightshade, reported from the shadows. Admiral, their fleet formation is collapsing. Cruisers are firing on each other. Their orbital grid is offline in multiple sectors. Elena's voice was calm, decisive. Initiate Phase 2. Strike the planet's primary control nodes. Precision only, no unnecessary destruction. The galaxy must see humans as calculated, not chaotic. Below, human commando teams deployed from stealth shuttles, infiltrating Kythera Prime's command centers. Advanced human AI guided them through security systems that had never encountered anything like it. Entire planetary defenses were turned against their own fleets without a single human soldier exposed. In orbit, the remaining Drelkar ships attempted a counterattack, but human fleets had already anticipated every move. Pulse cannons, phase-shift missiles, and electronic warfare modules neutralized their weapons systems. A single stealth frigate, appearing where it should have been impossible, disabled the flagship's engines with a precision strike that left the alien command paralyzed. Admiral Trell of the Zephyr fleet, observing from afar, was in disbelief. They are unstoppable. Even the Drelkar cannot counter them. What are they hiding? What makes them capable of this? In the Drelkar council chamber, RH-Car's form flickered as he spoke, a rare note of alarm in his usually composed voice. They possess forbidden knowledge, yes, but more than that, they possess a collective intelligence we cannot measure. Every maneuver, every counterattack is preemptive. Humanity is rewriting the rules of engagement, and we are unprepared. By the time the human fleet disengaged, Kythera Prime was under complete operational disruption. Its orbital defenses were crippled, supply chains dismantled, and the Drelkar fleet forced into retreat. Yet no human civilians or colonies were harmed. Humanity's victory was total, yet surgical, a demonstration not of brute force, but of strategy and apex intelligence. Admiral Elena Voss addressed her fleet in a recorded message, broadcast across all human-controlled systems. Today, humanity has not conquered for conquest's sake. We have shown that intelligence, courage, and adaptability are the greatest weapons. The galaxy has seen what humans are capable of. Let every empire consider their actions carefully. Humanity does not strike blindly, we strike with precision, purpose, and unyielding will. Back on Earth, the United Terran Council celebrated the victory, but the mood was tempered with caution. Senator Cale Armitage warned, "Our victories have drawn attention. Fear breeds alliances against us. We must prepare not only for attack but for diplomacy, subterfuge, and the inevitable retaliation." Elena nodded. "Every action we take is calculated. We will meet retaliation not with panic but with foresight. Humanity does not react, we shape outcomes." Across the void, alien empires began to communicate in urgent, secretive channels. The Drelkar Zihrar, and even the Krasari convened to discuss the growing human threat. None fully understood the scope of what humanity possessed. Rumors spread of additional human technologies, each more advanced than the last. Energy manipulation devices, interstellar cloaking networks, and AI-guided combat systems that defied known physics. Counselor RH-Car's voice was cold, measured, and terrifying. If humanity continues on this path, they will not merely survive, they will dominate. And if the galaxy resists, they will destroy those who oppose them. Prepare for full-scale engagement. Humanity must be contained before it is too late. Yet deep within, a flicker of admiration remained. Even RH-Car could not deny it. Humanity was not only a threat, it was extraordinary. As the human fleet returned to their hidden staging grounds, the stars stretched endlessly before them. Humanity had taken the fight to the galaxy's heart, reshaping power, alliances, and perceptions. The message was clear: humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. And the galaxy, arrogant and unprepared, would soon face the consequences of its hubris. The galaxy was trembling. Humanity had moved beyond localized victories and surgical strikes. Entire alien alliances, the Drelkar, the Zithwarar, and even the expansionist Krasari, were now coordinating for a confrontation that they believed would finally crush the human threat. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, observing the massive holographic projection of the assembled enemy fleets. Hundreds of capital ships, thousands of fighters, energy cannons blazing and shields humming, stretched across the void like a living storm. The galaxy had decided to unite against humanity. Lieutenant Kor's voice was tense but controlled. Admiral, combined fleets of Drelkar, Zihrar, and Krasari forces exceed anything in recorded history. Sensors indicate coordination protocols designed to predict our movements. This is unprecedented. Elena's eyes were steady, her jaw set. They think numbers matter. They have forgotten that humanity thrives in adversity. Full Battle Plan Delta, initiate. From Earth, Dr. Arjun Malhotra monitored the Prometheus drive, his fingers flying across holographic controls. Admiral, the new fleet formations are ready. Optimized stealth, phased energy weapons, and hyperadaptive AI systems. Everything is prepared. The galaxy does not know what it is about to witness. In the Drelkar High Council, RHKar's form shimmered with unease. They are prepared for the unthinkable. Every variable, every outcome, anticipated. We may have underestimated not only their technology but their capacity to unify and evolve under pressure. Skir's anger was palpable. We will crush them. Combined might of 3 empires, this is more than enough. RHKar's voice was icy and calm. You still do not understand. Humanity does not rely on sheer might. They rely on intellect, unpredictability, and instinct. This is no ordinary battle. It is the awakening of an apex species. The battle began near the Iller Nebula, a dense, colorful field of gas and debris. Human ships emerged from multiple vectors using the Prometheus drive, striking at previously calculated weak points. Stealth frigates bypassed massive energy shields, while drones mimicked human fleets, drawing enemy fire. Entire squadrons of alien fighters destroyed each other in confusion, believing decoys to be real threats. Captain Liera Ven reported from the Nightshade. Admiral, the enemy fleet is fragmented. Their communications are jammed. Their formations are collapsing faster than we predicted. Elena's voice rang through comms, calm and commanding. Focus on the command nodes. Disable their fleets without annihilating civilians. The galaxy must understand human supremacy is calculated, precise, and inevitable. The Drelkar flagship attempted a direct assault, but a single human stealth frigate, appearing impossibly close, disabled its engines using a phased pulse weapon that bypassed shields entirely. Meanwhile, orbital AI-guided strikes neutralized Zhwarar supply ships, leaving their fleet stranded and vulnerable. The Krasari tried to flank the human fleet from the nebula's opposite side. They underestimated human ingenuity. Using the Prometheus drive, a series of human frigates appeared behind enemy lines, cutting off reinforcements and turning the flank into a trap. Krasari cruisers collided with each other in chaotic maneuvers, and their energy grids overloaded, sending massive explosions through the void. From orbit above the battlefield, Dr. Malhotra spoke with awe. Admiral, the Prometheus drive and AI integration are performing beyond our simulations. The humans' adaptive tactics, it's like they think 3 moves ahead at all times without delay. Elena's response was resolute. That is exactly what they believe. Humanity does not react. We anticipate, adapt, and strike. That is what makes us apex. Across the galaxy, alien leaders communicated urgently, desperate to find a way to counter humanity. Alliances strained under pressure. Old rivalries resurfaced as blame was cast for the defeats. The Drelkar, Zihrar, and Krasari realized too late that humanity's power was not merely technological. It was their cohesion, creativity, and audacious will to survive and dominate. By the end of the battle, entire enemy fleets were either destroyed, immobilized, or forced into retreat. The nebula glowed with the remnants of shattered cruisers and fighter swarms. Humanity had emerged not only victorious but untouchable in its precision, strategy, and apex capability. Back on Horizon's edge, Elena addressed her fleet. Today we did more than win a battle. We sent a message to the galaxy. Humanity does not merely survive, it prevails. We are calculated, cunning, and unstoppable when united. And this is only the beginning. In alien councils, the tone had shifted from arrogance to genuine fear. RHKar's voice, always measured, was tinged with reluctant respect. They are not just a threat. They are the embodiment of what an apex species can become. The galaxy must rethink every assumption it has ever made. Even Senator Armitage admitted, speaking to the Terran Council, "We have reached a point where humanity is no longer measured by power alone. It is our intelligence, adaptability, and unity that make us unparalleled." The galaxy must understand, underestimating humanity is fatal. As human fleets regrouped, the stars stretched endlessly before them, silent witnesses to the rise of a species that had been overlooked for millennia. Humanity had faced the combined might of 3 galactic powers and emerged unscathed. They had proven that courage, intellect, and innovation were the greatest weapons in the universe. The galaxy had learned, at last, that humans were not a species to be underestimated. And yet, even in victory, Elena knew the journey was not over. Greater challenges awaited, new technologies would be revealed, and the true apex potential of humanity had yet to be fully unleashed. The storm had passed, but humanity's rise was unstoppable. The galaxy had never seen a species like humanity. From ignored backwater to apex predator, humans had reshaped the balance of power. Entire alien empires, Drelkar, Zuhurar, Krasari, and countless smaller systems, were forced to acknowledge a terrifying reality: humanity was unstoppable. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, her eyes scanning the final projection. The triad of alien capitals had formed an unprecedented coalition. Their fleets, colossal and heavily armed, numbered in the thousands, their formations precise, their weapons capable of annihilating entire planetary systems. This was the galaxy's attempt at humanity's annihilation. Lieutenant Kor's voice was tense. "Admiral, this is unlike anything before. All major empires combined, and they are coordinated. They anticipate human tactics to some degree. Casualties will be inevitable." Elena's gaze was unwavering. "Good. Let them anticipate. They've never faced a species that defies predictions. Prepare all fleets. Initiate the Apex Protocol." The Apex Protocol had been humanity's secret since the first tests of the Prometheus drive. It integrated quantum phase cloaking, AI-predicted battle simulations, and experimental energy weapons capable of collapsing energy fields at a molecular level. But most importantly, it relied on humans themselves, adaptable, intuitive, and fearless. Across the void, the coalition fleets moved like a tidal wave. Energy cannons glowed, shield grids hummed, and entire sectors of space seemed poised to erupt in fire. Yet as human fleets engaged, they vanished and reappeared with impossible precision, striking enemy weak points, severing supply lines, and forcing ships into self-destructive collisions. Captain Liera Ven's voice crackled from the nightshade. "Admiral, their flagship formations are collapsing. They're reacting, but our feints have created gaps in every quadrant. We can divide and conquer." Elena's voice was calm, commanding. "Execute Phase Omega. Remember, we strike, we adapt, and we overwhelm. Humanity does not retreat. Humanity prevails." The Drelkar flagship attempted to rally its forces, but human drones infiltrated their command network, turning ships against each other. ZHYRR energy grids overloaded under phased pulse attacks, and Krasari cruisers collided in panic as stealth frigates appeared behind their lines, dismantling propulsion systems with surgical precision. In the heart of the battle, Elena activated the final stage of the Apex Protocol, the Prometheus Singularity. Energy fields twisted around the human fleet, bending light, compressing space, and rendering human ships untouchable while enemy projectiles collapsed harmlessly against a field of quantum shields. Entire fleets were paralyzed or destroyed before retaliation could occur. Counselor Arhkar's voice echoed in the Drelkar Council chamber, strained with awe and disbelief. "Impossible, they have transcended conventional warfare. This is no longer a species, they are an apex force of the universe." Skier's hissing faltered. "We cannot counter they adapt faster than we calculate," Arhkar finished grimly. "This is evolution in real time. Humanity is the singularity we never predicted." Even the ZHYRR and Krasari leaders were forced into desperate retreat. Entire command structures collapsed under precision attacks, infiltration, and psychological warfare. Humanity had won not just through weapons, but through intellect, cunning, and the unyielding will to dominate. As the last alien strongholds fell, Elena addressed the fleet. "Humanity has not merely survived the galaxy's greatest threats. We have proven that intelligence, unity, and adaptability are more powerful than raw numbers. Every empire that doubted us has learned a vital truth: underestimating humans is fatal." In orbit above Earth, celebrations erupted across the colonies, orbital cities shimmering with lights. Yet Elena's gaze remained on the stars, the infinite expanse before humanity's fleet. "This victory is not an end," she said softly. "It is a beginning. The galaxy will remember humanity, not as a threat, but as the standard against which all species will measure themselves." Dr. Arjun Malhotra's voice came through from the engineering core. "Admiral, preliminary scans indicate that remnants of enemy fleets have fled into unknown regions. Some may regroup. But nothing in the galaxy can match the Apex Protocol. Humanity's supremacy is now unchallenged." Senator Cale Armitage addressed the Council via hologram. "We must govern wisely. Our supremacy is not just a weapon, it is a responsibility. Human ingenuity has conquered the galaxy's greatest threats, but it must guide civilizations toward stability, not chaos. The galaxy will follow humanity's lead." Even Counselor R.H. Carr, observing from exile, admitted the truth. Humanity had rewritten the rules of power. They were no longer simply a species, they were the apex force of the universe. Their ingenuity, adaptability, and audacity had shattered centuries of arrogance, showing that the underestimated species could dominate the cosmos. Elena gazed at the stars, feeling the weight of history in every light year. Humanity had faced overwhelming odds, survived, and risen above. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak, predictable, and primitive. They were wrong. Humanity had become the greatest threat, and the greatest force for order, the universe had ever known. The stars, once silent witnesses to humanity's struggle, now shone upon a species that had awakened its ultimate potential. The galaxy would never forget the rise of humans, the species that had become the apex. And in that silence, the infinite expanse awaited humanity's next move.